Greetings, my adventurers. We're back, part 2, the Earth, and got my Flat Earth t-shirt. Cool, awesome, and let's get to it. So, this is what they want us to believe, the round Earth, and I've got a nice little video here that I want to play for you, and let's sit back and enjoy. Let me just turn up the volume.
The world, according to NASA, is turning at a speed of 1,670 kilometers an hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. This is what the speed of sound looks like. And we don't feel a thing. NASA also tells us that the world is orbiting the sun at a speed of 107,000 kilometers an hour. That's 88 times the speed of sound. And still, we don't feel a thing. NASA also tells us that the world is chasing the sun through the universe at a whopping 720,000 kilometers an hour. That's a total of 828,006, almost a million kilometers an hour in 3 directions. And still, we don't feel a thing.
Zero. You're going to see some more with Bambi. You think of what I'm thinking? Bambi versus Godzilla. They're going to show you these videos. You know these people that stack rocks? This is impossible to do on a moving surface. You can't do that. That's why he's actually these videos. You cannot do that.
This is what 7 kilometers an hour looks like.
Try to put some rocks on there and see if you can stack them. Where that guy is.
With all those big numbers NASA is giving us, if things don't add up, it's time to subtract. We are not moving.
Just sit still for a second. You're not moving. You're not spinning around an axis at 1,000 miles per hour, rotating around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour, spiraling around the galaxy at 500,000 miles per hour, and shooting off from a big bang at 67 million miles per hour. You're not. You're motionless. You're just sitting there. Just sit still. What does that even mean, sit still? You think you can sit still with all those motions? Just feel like you're moving. Feel that? Same thing you've always felt. Nothing. Ever. Nobody's ever felt movement. Nobody's ever seen the earth. Nobody's ever seen the earth curve. Maybe you just got fooled by some masons. Mark Twain said, it's easier to fool people than to convince them they've been fooled. That's why it's so hard to convince you you've been fooled. You can't possibly believe that you and the rest of the world could have been lied to and deceived by
people that
Of course you are. That's what they told you in school. They don't lie to you in school.
Never lied to you in school, right?
The world.
So, this is what we are. This is what we are. Flat Earth Society. Now, I put this picture for a reason, and this is actually a false logo. This is the United Nations logo. This is not our flat Earth. And later on, when we get to the section of the moon, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk about this. So, do not buy this shirt because this is wrong. You can buy this shirt. This shirt is great. Okay, but don't buy this shirt because it's false. It's a falsehood. Okay. Now, Eric Dubé, the man you heard in the video just now that I was narrating, he has a video and he has a book, 200 Proofs the Earth is Not a Spinning Ball. And I've included his book, the PDF, and his video. And we're not going to go through and watch all of it because it's like 2 hours long. And you can do that on your own. You can go through the book and everything is there. There is more evidence that proves the Earth is not spinning and that the Earth is flat than the evidence that it is spinning and that it is round. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. There's more evidence of a flat Earth than a round Earth. So let's move on. Now this is our mythology. We've got the flat Earth. We have the dome, which is the firmament, as mentioned in the Bible, as mentioned in the Psalms, as mentioned in the Quran. This is it. Within the dome, you have the sun. You can see the sun here, the yellow sun, and the moon. Okay? And then you have the bottom of the earth, like that. You know, as people, you see them posting comments, like flat earth videos, they say, if the earth is flat, why can't we go fall off the edge? Duh. Go read your own Bible, and it says there's a firmament that keeps us enclosed. Okay? You cannot fall off the edge. Just these people are just plain idiots. You know, they just want to provoke you and twist your minds is what they are. They're trolls paid to provoke you. Okay? And this is the problem where people don't read their own scriptures. They don't know the truth because they're lied to and their head is full of lies. They're mixing up the lies. They're mixing the truth with the falsehood and they're getting nothing. Okay? This is the condition of people. This is the science today as we watch in the introduction video. This is how the people are educated through our universities and colleges. You understand? So anyway, let's move on. So I'm saying to trust your eyes, they do not deceive you. Yet Master Obi-Wan Kenobi says, your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. Okay, so, but Master Yoda comes around and says you must unlearn what you have learned. So all the stuff you've learned about around Earth and gravity and inertia and forces and Newton, all these things, we're going to start to unlearn these things. And I'm going to show you. Let's move on. So you go to any coastal area, you look out to the water, or you go out into the ocean on a boat, and you look at the water, it's flat no matter whatever direction you look at. It is flat. And you're driving down the highway, you look this way, you look that way. Unless you're driving through the mountains, it's different. But if you go through the plains, the road is flat. The horizon is flat. The ground is flat. Now, the Earth, according to Google, I did a search, speed of the Earth's rotation is roughly 1,000 miles per hour. Okay? And which equates down to 460 meters per second. So technically, if I was to jump up in the air and hold myself for 1 second, the ground should have moved 460 meters. Right? Logical? Okay, let's find out. So, I did some thinking and I did some searching, and it says here the distance from Canada to Malaysia is 12,627 kilometers, or 7,970 miles. Let's just make this even number, 8,000 miles. Okay, and then if I go back here, the Earth is spinning at roughly 1,000 miles per hour. Okay, so technically, you would think that, you know, on a flight, if I'm flying with the direction of the Earth spinning, then it should take 8 hours for me from Malaysia to go to Canada. Okay? Or even if the Earth is spinning the other way and from Canada to Malaysia, it should take 8 hours, right? But it doesn't. It takes about 20 hours. Depending on your route, it could take up to 24 hours flying time. I'm not talking transits. Understand me. There's transits as well, and that adds on to the 20 to 24 hours flying time. So why is the distance only 8 hours? And if the Earth is moving at 1,000 miles per hour, logically speaking, it should take 8 hours to arrive in Canada, or from Canada to Malaysia, depending on what direction the Earth is spinning. Okay? But anyway, it doesn't. It does not take 8 hours. It takes 20 hours. Something is not right. Something is not right. So, got me thinking here, and I scratched my head over this, and it says, you know, I thought, okay, if I can go up in a helicopter and just wait for a while, for a long while, and let the ground pass by, then in about 8 hours I should be in Canada, right? Okay, so seems like somebody else had the same idea, all right? And then I was thinking, hey, you know, if I can, you know, these hot air balloons, if I can go inside a hot air balloon, let it go up, and just play some cards or something, or sing some karaoke, or whatever it may be, have a picnic inside the hot air balloon with my family, and we just wait. Some Jeopardy, if you remember. Okay, but anyway, we just wait for hours, 8 hours, then logically speaking, when I look down, I should see, oh, Canada, right? But why is there nobody doing that? Why am I the only one in the Earth that has that idea to go inside a hot air balloon and go up? Because I don't want to spend thousands to pay the airline companies. Okay, I can buy a hot air balloon one time, and like every weekend I can go to Canada, right? For free. For free. You know? One hot air balloon trip to Canada will pay off for itself. And I can go every weekend for free. Who would not want to fly for free? Right? Everybody would be doing it. But why is nobody doing it? Let's find out. So, this has been debunked by the Flat Earth.ws Society, debunking flat Earth misconceptions. Now, before I explain this, these idiot people here, Flat Earth.ws, okay, this is their deception. Okay, you are searching for flat Earth because you want to learn. Instead, this is like a wolf in sheep's clothing to catch you and bring you back to their false reality. You know, why don't they call themselves, we are the Round Earth Society? Okay, we are debunking flat earthers. That's fine. But you show who you are. You don't do your false deception and you make yourself called the flat earth. People are searching for flat earth. They find this website and they think they're learning about flat earth, but they're being deceived. Alright? This is how these people are. So anyway, it says here, this helicopter example will not work because of inertia. Now, inertia, it is not possible to travel to another location by hovering inside a helicopter and waiting for the Earth to rotate until we are above our destination. So there you go. I'm not the only person that has this idea. So number one, when a helicopter lifts off the ground, it will have the same velocity as the Earth's surface. Okay, that is called inertia. So after it lifts off, the helicopter retains its initial velocity equal to that of the surface. So the Earth is moving, the helicopter lifts off, and therefore what they're trying to tell you is the helicopter will land back in the same place. Therefore, if I lift off in a helicopter in Malaysia, right, I will land back in Malaysia. Okay? So number 3, it says the atmosphere is part of the Earth and practically moving at the same velocity as the Earth's surface. So what they're saying is because of the wind, when the helicopter takes off, the wind is pushing the helicopter to make it land back where it took off from. Now, in a later part, we're going to talk about the sky and the atmosphere and the clouds, and I'm going to show you some really interesting videos. But the thing is, according to this, the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles, so it's pulling the atmosphere with it. But, my dear flat Earth debunkers, okay, have you ever looked up in the sky, and have you ever noticed that you see there's different layers of clouds? Some clouds are going this way, some clouds are going this way. 2 different directions. If the atmosphere is all being pulled by the speed and the rotation of the Earth, now, let me scratch my head again here. Now, wouldn't it be logical to say all the clouds will be moving in the same direction? But the reality is, when you look up in the sky, that is not the case. Go outside. You can't do it on a cloudy day, but you do it on a day where you can see the blue sky and you see different layers of clouds. Just lie down on the grass, do some grounding, get some sun. Okay, don't go sit outside with an umbrella like an idiot. Throw the umbrella away and get the sun on your skin. You need the sun. Gives us our energy. Makes your skin shiny, and anyway, I talk about that in my health courses, right? So, and also my grounding and earthing and sunning course. There's a good pop-up promoting for that video and that course. Get it. Learn a lot. Now, anyway, when you look up in the sky, you'll see some clouds moving this way, and the higher level clouds go the opposite direction. You understand? They go in a different direction. That means that the wind is not moving at the same direction. The whole atmosphere is moving different directions. Sometimes this way, this way, this way, this way. I don't know. Look up and you'll see. So, number 3 is not correct. Okay? Number 4, the atmosphere does not exert a force on things already moving at practically the same velocity like the helicopter. Okay, so now, inertia is described in Newton's first law of motion. An object either remains at rest or continues to move at a constant velocity unless acted upon a force. Okay, so now let's move on here. Okay, I found a video on YouTube, and the gentleman is explaining about inertia. So let's go through it. Now, someone proposed to him this question saying, "Sir, I'm having a question. I am currently in India, and if I get some supernatural powers to hang up in the sky, and if I hang up in the sky for about 12 hours, will I reach the United States? So is there some physics behind it which would stop me from doing so?" So let's watch the video and see what he says.
I'm currently in India, and if I get some supernatural powers to hang up in the sky, and if I hang up in the sky for about 12 hours, will I reach US? Or there's some physics behind it which would stop me from doing so. Interestingly, I think the answer is yes, and I want to talk about why I think so. But before I start, thanks a lot Easy Electronics, let me know what your name is, for asking this question, because I think everyone at some point in their life has wondered upon some version of this question. I remember I always wondered, like, if I jump high enough, then when I land, will I be on a different part of the planet because the Earth is spinning? Okay, so let's start thinking about this. Let's imagine there's Superman standing right next to us, and he's going to take off vertically, hang up in the sky for some time, and he's going to come back. What will happen? Well, we have a video for that. This is not a video of Superman hanging up in the sky. It's a different video, but the cool things about physics is you can connect one thing to another. So I want you to see this video made by John White on Newton's law of inertia, and I want you to try and connect it to our situation. Alright, so here you go. Let me do full screen. The link is in the description. Pretty cool video. You should check it out. All right, here we go. Okay. At first we might say that this has nothing to do with we might think this has nothing to do with what we are discussing, but can you pause and think about what would the car represent, what would the people represent, and what would the ball represent in our analogy? Alright, so the car represents the earth. Why? Because you're considering the earth spinning and we're considering the car moving. The car moving represents the earth spinning. The people on the car represent the earthlings, us. And what does the ball represent over here? The ball represents Superman. The ball doesn't possess supernatural ability, so it doesn't hang up in the sky, but we can sort of use that to kind of imagine what would have happened, right? What we see is that, what do we see? We see that even though he threw the ball straight up in the sky, it didn't stay up. The ball just didn't stay up, and the car just didn't go forward. What we see is that the ball is, let's look at it one more time. We see that the ball is traveling with the car forward as it goes up and comes back. Why is that happening? Because of inertia. Because even before the ball was thrown up, it had a forward velocity which was the same as the velocity of this dude, which was the same as the velocity of this van, right? And so when it gets thrown up, along with going up, it continues to go forward because of its inertia. You can see it continues. It's not going straight up, it's going at an angle, as you can see. And because of that, it's always traveling with him, and therefore it comes straight back in his hand.
Okay, I'm gonna go back here a bit, and I want you to listen to something.
All right, here we go. Okay.
Forward.
What would the car represent? What would the people represent? And what would the ball represent in our analogy? Alright, so the car represents the earth. Why? Because you're considering the earth spinning and we're considering the car moving. The car moving represents the earth spinning.
Okay, so I have a very interesting question. Why do you need the car if the earth is already spinning? Where's the logic in using a car when the earth is already spinning? Why don't you just stand where you are, throw the ball up in the air, and watch the video you catching it somewhere else? Okay? You got the earth spinning, you got the car spinning, the truck, and then you got the guy in the back seat throwing the ball up. You technically have two things spinning. You have the earth is already spinning. You have the truck is moving at a high speed. And what would be the real reaction of the ball? You got two objects spinning. Wouldn't the ball go lesser distance? Technically, he shouldn't be able to catch the ball if you got two objects moving. You know, this is where their logic starts to dissolve itself. Okay, but anyway, so the truck is supposedly the earth spinning. The guy here is the humans, and the ball is the helicopter, you can say. So how inertia works is that as the truck...
The people on the car represent the earthlings, us. And what does the ball represent over here? The ball represents Superman. The ball doesn't possess supernatural ability, so it doesn't hang up in the sky, but we can sort of...
Okay, so
all
just gonna fast forward it here. Well, let me do it from here. So the meaning of all this is that if the helicopter goes up because of the movement of the earth and the inertia of it going up, it would technically land back in the same place. So meaning that if I was to lift off in a helicopter in or from Malaysia, I would technically land back in Malaysia. That's what inertia is telling you, and that's what they're trying to say in this video. Okay, but my question is, and I'm going to move on.
I'm correct.
Why doesn't this apply to hot air balloons? Now, when have you ever seen a hot air balloon lift off from point A and then land at point A? It would always lift off from point A and land over at point B. Okay, when it goes up, the wind will bring it. But have you ever seen a hot air balloon return and land back into the place where it took off from? Never. Okay, so we're gonna watch another video here with hot air balloons, and let's analyze this for a minute. So we got a camera. Looks like it's mounted on a stand because it's stationary. Then you see the hot air balloons going up. I'm gonna pause the video here now. Okay, according to inertia, when the balloon goes up, okay, the wind will push it, and the Earth is moving. So the speed of the Earth is also controlling the atmosphere. Okay, which we talked about that in that number 3. That, you know, why is it then some clouds go this way and some clouds go this way at the same time? Okay, so when you look at this video, why is it that you see the hot air balloon going up? Why don't you see the camera is panned on a stand right there and pointing in one direction? And why don't you see the camera angle or the videotaping of the camera? If the Earth is moving and the balloons are going this way, why doesn't the camera and the balloons stay in alignment? Okay, why don't they stay in alignment? Why is the camera still here and the balloon is going off the screen? Where is the inertia? Where are you, Mr. Inertia? So let's go back and watch this video. See, look, the camera's on a stand, it's clear. And if you notice carefully, some balloons are going towards me, some is going to the other direction, some is going to the right, and some will go to the left. Why are they all not going in the same direction? Why are they not all going into the background? Because that looks like that's the direction the clouds are going. Why are they going this way? Going towards me. Okay, so it's something to think about, right? Sorry. So these are the lies of mathematics, okay? And you know, I just gave you an example of how inertia does not apply to hot air balloons. Okay? So another one is gravity, the invisible and invisible magic power that is strong enough to hold down the trillions of liters or gallons of ocean water, yet weak enough to allow the tiniest insect or bird to fly freely in any direction, like the butterfly, right? Where's the gravity to pull down the butterfly, or the little mosquito, or the fly, okay, or a hummingbird, okay, or even the little bumblebee, okay? Where's the inertia? What about when I put helium inside a balloon and I have it on the string and I let go of the string, the balloon goes up. Like the people down in Australia on this round Earth model, you know, the water, they say the water doesn't fall off the Earth because gravity is holding it in. You Australian people don't fall off the Earth because gravity is holding you in, and all your buildings and cars and everything. But yet, the little butterfly in Australia can defy gravity and defy inertia and just lift off and end up someplace else. Okay? Why do you have bird migrations? You know, what is the concept of bird migration? You know, bird migration, they were going from, let's say, the north when it's coming to winter, flying down to the south in the warmer area. You know, maybe you're going to say, okay, they're all in the same time zone or area, so that's why they start up and they still end up down at the bottom. Okay, but then why do some of them go to other areas? You know, that defies inertia. So these are things that, you know, this gentleman in the video that I showed you, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. He looks like a very nice guy. It looks like he's got some intelligence. But this is going back to the introduction video that I had with the old man talking about science and the generation of students and people coming out of universities. You know, all these people they only can think of what they've been programmed, and they don't have the ability to think out of that system. Okay, and that's what it is. In order to understand what I'm saying, which is common sense, you got to think outside of the system. So, like I said, why doesn't inertia apply to flying insects and birds? When have you ever seen a mosquito or or a bird fly off and land back in the same spot? Never. Okay? So it seems that God's creations cannot only defy gravity, but they can defy inertia as well. So, Newton's laws and the theory of gravity and its theory of inertia does not apply to God's creation. Okay, it only applies to a man throwing a ball up in the back of a moving truck. That is the only place where inertia applies. Okay, it doesn't apply to anything else in creation. So you got God's creation that there's no inertia, and then you got man who's telling you there's inertia. So one side is truth, one side is falsehood. Always remember there's two sides. There's no in between. Don't tell me, Master Ali, can we go in between? Okay? There's no in between. Either you're on the side of truth or you're on the side of falsehood. That's where you stand. So let's move on here. So even the grasshopper, you know, when have you ever seen a grasshopper lift off and end up back in the same spot it started from? When? Can anyone tell me when? Never. Never, 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 never. It's impossible. It lifts off and it ends up someplace different. Okay? It's very simple. Okay, now that's it for inertia. That's it for the mathematics and stuff. So we're going to move on. And this is a flat Earth map. And when we get into the moon, you're going to learn more about this map. But for now, I want you to understand that I mentioned earlier that the distance from Malaysia to Canada is 8,000 miles. And if I was flying with the Earth and the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, my logical thinking little brain here, I'm not a physics expert or a PhD in mathematics or anything like that, but my common sense tells me that about 8 hours I should be in Canada. But it actually takes about minimum 20 hours flying time. And that's depending on which route you take, because there's different routes, transits and stuff like that. So sometimes it can take up to 24 hours. So, you know, I'll share with you something here. You know, when I first started to come to Malaysia was 1999. And that time I went from from Ottawa, Canada, going to Vancouver, going to Seoul, Korea, and then Korea to, I think, Singapore to Malaysia. So let's say going west. And in 2000 I went again to Malaysia. I went east, you can say, from Ottawa to England, and then England to Kuala Lumpur. So I used to say to everyone, I used to brag, hey, I've flown around the world because I've gone both directions. You know, I used to be, wow, I've flown around the world, you know. So whoopie-doo-dah, right? So anyway, I've learned now. I've corrected my ways. Okay? So anyway, back to the flight routes. When you take the flight routes and you apply it to the round Earth, it doesn't make sense. The actual flight routes the airplanes take, when you apply it to the round Earth, it doesn't make sense. But when you apply it to a flat Earth, it makes perfect sense. Okay, and that also goes with the marine traffic routes, that whether you're on a cruise ship or these large cargo ships, the flat Earth model of all the routes makes perfect sense. Okay, and then let's look at reflections. Reflections on a flat surface. So when you look at this picture on the top, you see like the traffic light here, you see the reflection of the light. The car, the back lights, you see the reflection of the brake lights. And then other lights here is reflected in the wet tar here. And it says here at the bottom, it can't happen on a curve. So here you see the sun and you see the reflection. Here you see the sun and the reflection. And if you notice the wave here, wave is what? Wave is a curve. There's no reflection. And you see the sun here and then you see the reflection. So here you go. Light does not bend over curves. So a flat surface and reflection stretches for miles. Not flat, no reflection. See the ocean current. This is all, there's no current. You have a wave here. And there's no reflection. Reflection cuts off. Sorry about that. So its reflection proves a flat surface. So okay, I got a nice little video here. It's called Ends of the Earth by David J. Caron, and Captain Cook proved a level Earth. Okay, it's a nice little song. Let's play it and enjoy. Thank you.
Adventure awaits to my wife. I bid farewell as she waved from our gate. With the voyage at sea, destiny I have paid for 8 pieces of silver. I boarded my fate. 2 years of provisions, from sauerkraut to nails, 9-ton hogsheads of rum and casket full of ale. We made ship-shape the rigging from crow's nest to keel, and with a weather eye open, Captain Cook set sail. Hang on to the winds and head to sea. Beyond the horizon, the ends of the earth beckon we. In 3 years of discovering new lands for the crown, 200,000 leagues of boat tape sailed around. On a mission for the mythical southern continent bound. Well, we searched the world over and it could not be found. In the year 1773, 194 men sailed into history. Crossed the Antarctic Circle, first ever with me. Unknown, uncharted waters, first known, ever seen. Hello, for your life, we're reaching you to see. Onward beyond the horizon, the ends of the earth bear to be. From the hills of West Polynesia, a dream paradise to a great barrier reef of espresso.
The ice walls. Talk about those later in another part.
Rising up one above other and into the distance, and every attempt impenetrable resistance. Gigantic glacial mountains lost through the clouds to the sky. There's no way through to go. There's so like the edge of the world. There's no Roman monoliths of Easter Island nearly lost our lives, attacked by savages with rocks thrown in battle cries. On the Great Barrier Reef, reflecting almost capsized. But nothing compares to the endless shit ice cliffs that no one knows. Transparent blue frozen walls, only we can know. Farther than ever reached before, far as any man can go. We return from the ends of the earth. Like the edges to find hell frozen over there and back, we lost many good men. From the ends of the earth I've returned to hold you again.
Captain James Cook. Alright, so now this is actually the end of the slide, but I'm gonna pause here for a minute because I want to add something in. Okay, I want to explain something about the air traffic routes and the sailing routes. Alright, be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I have a video here. It says the Quran mentions the earth is spherical in shape 1,400 years ago, and this is a well-known and respected scholar of Islam. His name is Dr. Zakir Naik. Generally, most Muslims will recognize him. So for my dear brothers and sisters of Christianity and other religions and denominations, you may not know of him. But basically, he did this video on YouTube that says that the Quran says the earth is a ball, spherical. So I want to bring this up and discuss it with you as well. I'm gonna be pausing in between the video to make some points here. But let's play the video and listen.
Previously, the human beings, we thought that the
I'm sorry.
flat.
Let's start.
That the earth on which we live, it is flat. It was in 1577, Sir Francis Drake, when he sailed around the earth, he proved.
Okay, so first of all, Sir Francis Drake was a Freemason. He was a Mason. Freemasons, and he was a high-level Mason. He wasn't like the ground-level Boy Scout people Mason we're talking about. He was a high-level 33-degree Illuminati Mason. So these are liars. What did he prove? You want to take the word of a known liar? This is the first thing that I question Dr. Zakir Naik. Why do you want to bring up an example of a man who is a 33-degree level Illuminati Mason?
proved that the earth was spherical. Quran mentions in Surah Luqman, chapter number 31, verse number 29, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who merges the night into day and merges the day into night. Alam tara anna Allaha yuliju layla fi nahari wa yuliju nahara fi layli. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who merges the night into the day and merges the day into the night.
Okay, I'm going to pause here for a minute. This concept of merging the day into night and night into day, we will discuss that when we get into the celestial phenomena, talking about the sky. Okay, but right now what he's talking is pure nonsensical science. Okay, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's speaking with actually. Okay, first of all, let me just say, this man is very knowledgeable in Islam and the Bible. Okay, he can tell verses from word for word from any scripture from his memory. God has blessed him with great knowledge. Okay, I'm not putting him down, but he's he's reached a point now in his education that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, and after you finish my course, you will have a better understanding of that verse that he's mentioning from the Quran about how the coiling, he's going to talk about next about the coiling action of the sun, and you're going to really understand how that really works, and then about this concept of merging the night onto the day. Anyway, let's play it.
Merging is a gradual and slow process. The night slowly and gradually merges into the day, and the day slowly and gradually merges into the night. If the earth was flat, there would have been a sudden change. It would have been a gradual process of night merging into the day and day merging into the night.
Okay, he's basing that on the fact, or his version of the fact, that the sun is 93 million miles away, or 150 million kilometers away. That is where he's basing this knowledge from. Okay, so he's mixing truth and falsehood right there. Let's continue.
Allah gives a similar message in Surah Az-Zumar, chapter number 39, verse number 5. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who overlaps the night unto the day and overlaps the day unto the night. The Arabic word used here is kawara, which means to overlap or coil. So the Quran says it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who overlaps or coils the night unto the day and overlaps or coils the day unto the night.
So this coiling action we'll talk about later, but
Coiling,
the black
the
sun.
word kawara is
Suns.
used, how you coil a turban onto your head. So this overlapping and coiling of the night unto the day and the day unto the night is only possible if the shape of the earth was spherical. If it was flat, it was not possible.
No.
And Allah further says in Surah Naziyat, chapter number 79, verse number 30, we have made the earth as an expanse, and we have made the earth egg-shaped. Wal arda ba'da zalika dahaha. Wal arda ba'da zalika dahaha means, and then we made the earth egg-shaped. One of the meanings of dahaha is an expanse, and the other meaning of the Arabic word dahaha, it is derived from the Arabic word duya, which means an egg. And we know today that the earth on which we live is not completely round like a ball.
Okay, so think about that for a minute, Mr. Dr. Zakir Naik. You have pictures from NASA going back to the 70s of a perfectly round earth shaped, and then you say, well, now today we know that the earth is not perfectly round. So how is it you had pictures 40 years ago of a round earth, even maybe even longer, maybe even 50 years ago, when they took the first moon picture of the earth, right? I think 67 they had a picture of the earth, right? So this is like going back 50 something years ago. You have a picture of a round earth, and then how can that suddenly change to an egg-shaped size earth? Think about that for a minute, Mr. Dr. Zakir Naik, and all of you listening to it. This shows you how unintelligent sometimes these people think. They don't use common sense. You know, 50 years ago you show me a round picture of the earth, and now you want to show me a picture of a egg-shaped earth, like an ostrich egg shape of an earth. How can it change in 50 years? So that means the pictures that was shown 50 years ago is fake. Is that what you're telling me? And the pictures today is the real pictures? So why did they show us fake pictures 50 years ago? You know, somebody needs to stand up to him and tell him, you're speaking lies. Your knowledge is lies. And correct yourself. Okay?
It is geospherical in shape. It is flattened from the pole and it is bulging from the center. And the Arabic word duya
So why didn't the pictures in
doesn't
50 years
mean
ago show
a
this
normal egg.
bulge?
It specifically means the egg of an ostrich. And if we analyze the shape of the egg of an ostrich, it too is geospherical in shape. Imagine, the glorious Quran mentions 1400 years ago that the shape of the earth is geospherical. It does not say spherical only, it specifically mentions like the egg of an ostrich.
Okay, so like I said, this man is a well-known scholar and debater. He knows the Quran, he knows the Hadith, he knows the Bible, he knows all the scriptures in his memory. He's very, very knowledgeable. God has blessed him with a great memory, but unfortunately, they've reached a point where they're mixing truth and falsehood, and their knowledge is mixed. And they're trying to explain the Quran based on the false knowledge that they have, like, which is what he's doing. And for me, because I have the knowledge, he's doing a very bad job. And for himself, for Islam, and for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for God Almighty. Okay, so sorry for the black screen here. Let me just go on. Now, I want to come back to this flight video. As I mentioned, back in 1999, I went to Malaysia from Canada, and I went westward. And then in 2000, I went eastward. And I used to brag to everyone, hey guys, I've flown around the world. I'm like, yay, man. So, but the thing is, actually, when I'm bringing back the flight traffic map, and Dr. Zachary Knight talked in this video about Sir Francis Drake. He sailed across the world. Okay, and this is part of the video that I was playing about the ends of the world by David Caron. And so you cannot sail around the world. And even fly around the world. People are thinking, okay, if I fly north and I keep flying north and just go all the way around and all the way back around, I'll come back to the same place I started, because it's going in a circle, right? Or if I go east, I keep going all the way around and all the way around and all the way around, I'll come back to where I started from. No, it doesn't work that way. So when you actually look at the flat Earth map and you look at the actual flight paths, North America, South America is here. This is this is Japan. You got Russia and China up here, and then you got Korea down here, and then you got coming down to India and Malaysia over here, and then you got the Australia over here. Sorry, I think this is India over here, and then you got the Middle East and Europe, and getting into England over here, and then you got Africa over here. The South Africa and West Africa. So the question, and then you got Greenland up here. So the thing is that everything, you don't see any of these lines like going from here, West Africa, and flying all the way and coming back from this side. You know, like in this picture here that they show you. You know, this is the world map that they show you. And they show you the flight going off here and coming from here. Or Australia going here and coming from here, kind of thing. You know, this is what they show you, but this doesn't make any logical sense from the distance and things like that. So the thing is, when you actually put everything, their actual real flat map of the Earth, and you overlay it with the actual flight routes, there's nothing going off the screen. Here, look, it goes from here and goes to there. Okay, but there's nothing from, let's say, Australia to going to New Zealand, and New Zealand flying off and then coming up into Los Angeles or someplace like that. Okay, so doesn't show that on the actual flight tracks and flight route of the airlines. And the same for the sea. Doesn't show you going, let's say you take a cruise or you have your own yacht and you go west from Los Angeles, going all the way through the Pacific Ocean, and then you're coming back around, and then you end up in India or Mozambique or someplace like that, okay, or Madagascar. You know what I mean? So doesn't work that way. That is a failed system. Okay, so anyway, I just want you to understand that you are not going around the world. Sir Francis Drake did not sail, and he claimed he did. Why? Because he's a 33 degree level Mason. It's one of the highest levels you can achieve, and that's guaranteed a level of being liars. Okay? So So it's clear. They're liars. Alright, so now let's finish with this beautiful verse from the Holy Bible that says from 1 Chronicles, fear before him all the earth. Fear before God, the one true God, all of the earth. Everything on the earth fears the power and the magnificent and the gloriness of Almighty God. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, the world also shall be stable. What does stable mean? Firm. That it be not moved. So, right there in your own Holy Bible, it's telling you the earth is stable and it does not move. So why do you want to believe this other stuff? Something to think about. Like I said from the beginning, this whole presentation, this whole production that I'm doing on astronomy, is to eliminate the falsehood. Okay? And at the end of the video, at the end of everything, you have to think. You've got two sides of the fence. Either you're on the side of truth, God's truth, or you're on the side of falsehood, Satan's falsehood. There's no in between. You can't sit on the fence. Either one day you got to get off the fence and go on the side of truth or the side of falsehood. So that, I'm not going to tell you which side to go to. It's up to you. Alright? I've already determined what side I'm on. But where you want to be is up to you and your choice. Alright? So that concludes this section. Thanks again, and let's move on.